Rockin' 101, it's Minnesota Homegrown, the track you know from Strange Daze, Satellite Soul, the very first single off their Shine Through album, which sounds like after the show is done, it should be available, the entire album, not just a few tracks you can download. And by chance, we have the band in studio tonight, Strange Daze, hanging out. What's happening?
Hello. Hey guys, how you
doing?
doing?
Happy to be here.
And as always, tradition, give your name, what you do in the band, and we even have snacks hanging out in studio
World's
tonight.
greatest roadie.
We do have Snacks, the world's greatest roadie, with us tonight. Chad Armstrong, bass and vocals.
Eric Modry, guitar playing and vocals.
Mike Berg, drums.
Scott Knudsen, vocals.
And welcome back. It's been quite a while since you've been in studio. I think it was way before even the Redefined album came out.
I believe that's correct.
So.
It'd probably been in 2004,
close to that.
2005, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Nobody told me about that.
You were still down in Phoenix.
Where was I?
Yeah.
But a lot has happened since then. As mentioned, Shine Through, the album is going to be available, as we said, midnight tonight, but we haven't figured out if that's going to be Eastern or Central. So check, a show gets done at 11 o'clock tonight. We figure it'll probably be available for sale by that time.
Yep, or you can get it tomorrow also at Electric Fetus in St. Cloud, Minneapolis, Duluth, down in the valley, Maple Grove, Crystal, or Golden Valley. Those are the stores here in Minnesota.
But if you're nationwide, you can get it online. You can get it online at Best Buy, Amazon, CD Universe, Overstock.com, Barnes & Noble, eBay, iTunes. You can get it off our website, which you should check out anyway because it's awesome, strangedays.com. or you can do it the right way and come see a live show. Come say hi to us. We would love to hang out with you, to talk with you guys. We'll have albums for sale there along with shirts, anything else. You can also get off our website. And we got pens there so we can sign them too.
And Friday and Saturday nights wouldn't be a normal night if you guys weren't playing somewhere.
That's
Correct.
true.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, you're one of the hardest working bands as far as getting out there and getting the name out. The new CD, Shine Through, as mentioned, that's coming out tonight, and it sounds like a lot of time and a lot of effort went into that, and you guys went down to Nashville to work on that.
Correct.
Could you give a little insight as to how that came about, and some pretty big names actually involved with the CD itself?
Well, we started with a guy, Brian Johnson, who we worked with at Gemini Studio. He did our first two albums, and he so happens to work for 38 Special. He handed our CD to Bobby Capps, the keyboard player, and Bobby liked the band, brought us to Nashville. Bobby shared it with his partner in the studio, that he owns a studio, Chris Henderson, guitar player, Three Doors Down, and they both decided to work with us and really liked the band, and from there it kind of evolved. But without Brian Johnson, none of this would happen.
Yep.
So he's kind of the major link in it. But Bobby's Caps was from 38 Specials, the main driven force behind it, and really believed in the band and the songs, and really had our back, and we owe him a lot too.
Yeah, we've
Very
really
true.
been fortunate with some of the people we've met. Bobby was amazing to work with. Chris, he produced some of the guitars, was absolutely fabulous in studio, just as a person and with the work he did for us. It was a great experience. We had a couple of guys fly down. Eric and I, pulling all-nighters, driving in the van was good times.
Yeah.
I gotta mention Kurt Kelsey too, who mixed the album. He's Three Doors Down sound man, and prior to that was Creed's sound man, and did some work on one or possibly two of their albums. I know one for sure.
Whether
he worked on.
Creed's albums and Three Doors Down, if you look on the back, he co-produced their albums and,
so
engineered.
And we were very fortunate to get him to come on board on this project too, through the relationships that we had made.
He kind of worked hand in
earlier.
hand with Rodney Mills too, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say
I actually
that.
think he
Yeah, you
pretty
could
much
s-
drove
yeah,
the
he
Masters
kinda-
to the Master House.
Yep.
And this is always kind of a fun question to ask too, with all these people, big name people involved. What kind of influence did they have on the music itself, as far as that and the production? I know you guys wrote all the tunes, but did they have any added insight into the finished product?
The thing that I think we all really loved about those guys and working with them, they let us be true to ourselves. They had opinions, and we tried whatever we thought, and thought if it was fit us or not. They never forced their hand, and that was meant a lot to us. I mean,
Yep.
and
Well, even on the first single, Satellite Soul, the arrangement was a little different when we went into the studio, and actually came out better with their suggestions, I thought. So.
Okay. Anything else you kind of wanted to add of the overall experience of heading down there to do the production?
Horsepower, man.
Yeah.
It's
Little
not a-
Caesars for a week. Little Caesars $5 hot and ready pizzas for lunch, supper, and breakfast and snacks.
It was just a
Every day.
dynamic.
Every meal, every day, but it was great.
At times even intimidating, knowing how many albums those guys have sold.
yeah,
Well, we
But really
we
comfortable
slept.
too, though.
Yeah,
You
it
know?
was a great atmosphere. Even slept across the street in a tour bus style fashion.
Yeah,
I know what
we
the-
slept in the studio where they
Yeah.
kept the gear. We're up at 3 in the morning, unable to sleep because we're excited, going through the guitar cabinets, pulling out, Chris Henderson's '57 Les Paul Jr. Going, hey, this is pretty cool. Look at a kick drum over there with the ghost of Eddie Rabbit in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recorded the album with my snare drum and Three Doors Down's kit, so that was kind of cool.
Yep. We were able to use a lot of their whatever they had there that we wanted to, as far as gear and stuff, and
Including week-old tuna sandwiches from Subway.
yes, and
well, and Chris Henderson has endorsement with PRS, since the guitar that I play, Paul Reed Smith, and he let me play anyone that was in the studio, and he has many. All in all, they were just great people. They're, like Mike said, it seemed intimidating sometimes when they pulled up in their nice cars and they're sitting here and they're,
And you knew how they made that money. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
but they're some of the nicest people in the world, and
Yeah.
we couldn't be more thankful for everything they've done and the opportunity we've been given. We also like to thank Tom Durr, who is our manager, owns a record label that we signed to, which is
Rock Ridge Music.
Yep,
And that's exactly where I was going to go next with this too. So
yeah, for giving us an opportunity and a chance, and believing in the band and the songs. Something we dreamt throughout our whole life, writing songs and playing it, like you said before, many shows, and always believing, that we had something. And we've had so many people through life tell you, oh, you got to be heavy, you got to be light, you got to do this and that. And we've always stuck by what we believed in, and because certain style of music goes, and we stuck by, what we believe in and who we are, and just wrote music that naturally comes out of us, and
Yep.
and I think it's starting to pay off for us.
you guys have stayed pretty true over the years as far as that goes too.
But I think that's something that Chris and Bobby, Kirk, and everyone that we worked with recognized, and as Scott alluded to earlier, with how they would throw suggestions into the mix, and we would take some, we'd leave some, we'd try them out. Hey, this works, this doesn't. The thing that they got, or I feel that we had a common ground on, is that you see these successful bands out there, they're doing what is honest to them. If you listen to these influences Eric's talking about, like, oh, you got to be heavy, you got to be light, you're forcing your hand, and you're trying to put something in your image and be something that's not what's naturally coming out of you, and it feels forced. And I think everyone there acknowledged, hey, this can't feel forced. It's got to be natural.
And it kind of puts you out of your comfort level too.
Right,
that's
right.
Right, and I think one of the reasons that it all, in my opinion, turned out, so great is that it really felt like everybody that was in the studio, in whatever part in the process, was there because they wanted to be working on it. They enjoyed working on it. It didn't feel like anybody was doing it just because it was, that was their job for the day or whatever. Everybody that was a part of it felt like they wanted to be a part of it and enjoyed,
Yeah, that's true.
making it come together.
Now, as far as the label goes, any plans for a Satellite Soul is obviously what you guys have said is the first single off the new album. National, any plans on when they're going to start pushing the single to some of the national outlets, the radio stations?
They got a team put together right now that they're putting together, and we're going to be doing a national radio campaign, probably starting in December or January. They're just getting a team together, and that's what our goal is, to push it. So I think Skip Isley is, he's worked with a lot of like Elton John and Collective Soul and others, and so we're hoping, to get this out as far as we can and do as much as we can. Also, I want to go back to and thank the rest of the people at the label too, because there's a lot of other people at the label who have done a lot of work and set up interviews and write-ups and stuff for us, and it means a lot to have a team and people to believe in you and help push it, because it takes more than just us, and it needs a big team to make this be successful. And bottom line, who we really need to thank a lot too is our fans, because without fans, you have nothing. They're the core, they're the foundation. Without a foundation, everything crumbles and have nothing. And we love our fans, and we appreciate their continuous support that they've shown us through over the years, and hope that it continues, and hope they go out and buy our album and support it. And like I said, Electric Fetuses down in the valley, online, Best Buys,
online, yep.
Any online outlet,
Yeah, and you guys definitely have some strong fans, a strong fan base. You got to send a shout out to the Party Pants crew too, right?
Yeah,
That's right. Hopefully they're
Party
listening.
Pants crew. And,
loyal
maybe
fans.
some living room sessions, people, if they're listening too. That goes even farther back yet.
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to great success from you guys as far as the national campaign, and us Minnesota people need to support as well. Album Shine Through comes out at midnight tonight. As mentioned, probably check right after the show is done, and it'll probably be available on iTunes and all that as well. Any kind of last words before we get into the last song?
Come to a show and get a copy. That's always the best way.
And where do you have shows coming up fairly recently that people can catch you?
Well, you can always find that information out on our Facebook, or you can go to the brand new and improved and very awesome StrangeDaze.com. That's DAZE.com.
And updated often now, too.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
So,
And will be.
absolutely. But upcoming shows we're hitting up Austin, I believe, this coming weekend. We're hitting up Brainerd fairly soon. Fergus Falls is going to be the Party Pants crew shout out CD release party. We check out the websites, come see us, get online. Whatever you can do to support us, we would absolutely love to have you behind us.
And New Year's Eve, right here in St. Cloud at the Press.
Which has become a tradition.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
And will be our CD release for St. Cloud here. We're going to do it
it'll
on
be
New
our
Year's
first
Eve
show
also.
in St. Cloud with the album.
Should be
And-
cool.
And we'd like to thank you, Tim, for
Yeah,
all the
Tim.
support
Yeah.
you've done over the years. This is the stuff that really can help us, catapult further, is support from people like you, and you've been a great supporter of not only Strange Days, but just local music, and we sure appreciate that. And
Thank you. Thank you very
music's in a tough state these days, and record stores are becoming obsolete, and it's trying to push our music out, and we appreciate all the help that we can. And
But you know what? It's always darkest before dawn.
Yeah.
So
And as I said, I always dig the hard copies, which I have in hand right
Absolutely.
now. So, I'm going to be listening to it on my way home tonight, that's for sure.
Awesome.
And we are going to be listening to track 12 off the album entitled Home. We're going to get to that in a second. First of all, again, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for
I
having
always
us.
Thanks
enjoy
for
having you
having
guys in studio. And anything else you want to add about that last song, Home?
I don't know, I guess, Chad, a good word for it is for our first attempt at kind of an epic. We didn't really let any, preconceived rules or anything like that come into play when we were writing it. We just kind of let it, become what it wanted to. And so there's some different elements in it, like violin and cello, and I think there's a little bit of subtle keyboards from Captain Kirk Kelsey in the background on there. And I don't know, it's just one that we all really have always seemed to connect with and enjoy as a group. So
All right, well, thanks again. People, get out and check out Strange Daze locally. Press Barn Parlor is where you can catch them. Just check their schedule out online at Strange Daze. Off Shine Through with Home on Rockin' 101's Minnesota Homegrown.